And I'm bringing sexy back, guys. I would be the best commentator in the world. You know, I would tell you exactly what I was thinking. Bro's off. He sucks. He's amazing. Don't you want to have Coach Greg with Phil Heath at next year's Mr. Olympia, Arnold Classic, whatever, doing the commentary?
Yes.
That's right. Yes, you do. You, in fact, definitely do. Coach Greg and I just finished watching the prejudging at the Arnold Classic, and let's get right into it. Now, it all came down to a battle between the top four. We had Nick Walker, who was much improved as soon as he walked out on stage. I was thinking, bro, he brought it. He nailed it. It was the best Nick Walker ever. And what about Andrew Jack, the tall giant, the man with the charisma, doing the Ronnie Coleman shuffle as he's walking out? He's moving slow, he's grooving, and he was shredded. He was extremely impressive. And Martin Fitzwater, the man who beat Sebum, he was bubbly, he was shredded, he looked amazing. And to round it all off, Mr. Consistency himself, Hadi Choopan. And so all I can say is all of these guys are amazing. They all brought it. And no wonder they called out only the top four rather than the top five or top six, because there was a big difference between those top four competitors and the rest of the field. And so I heard some of the live stream following the competition on the way over. I'm researching, I'm thinking, what did this guy say? What did that guy say? And I found out that Nick Strength and Power was doing the live stream and not Coach Greg. Now, I know Nick Strength and Power. He does a lot of videos. He's been around the game for a long time, but he isn't Coach Greg. I mean, let's be honest. I'm an IFBB pro, and I'm bringing... What am I bringing?
Sexy back.
And I'm bringing sexy back, guys. And so the first thing you need to know is when they first bring out the competitors, it's in numerical order.
All right, Nick, pick your poison.
I really like Hadi here. I'm kind of surprised not to see Nick or Andrew Jack in this mix.
Well, I think they were just going by numerical order.
Oh, is this just the impressions?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the first call out, it's numerical order. They just want an initial glance. They see the competitors and they say, you know, those 2 or 3 from the first group and those 2 or 3 from the second group, they were the best, the standouts, and we're then going to bring them out in the first call out. And so you can see who's been around the competition. Remember, I've competed 59 times. And so I think I know a thing or two about competing.
We need a woman's perspective. That's why we're going to bring in 2-time Arnold champion, Bikini International, Angelica Teixeira. Angelica, you've had a little time to rest, and you walk out and you see this. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they just comparing by numerical order.
Yes.
Face front.
And so at one point they asked for a female's point of view, and I was thinking, why not invite on Mepstagram? And so throughout this analysis, I'm going to ask Mepstagram's take, because she was watching the video, myself as well as Eric Janicki. And so I'm going to tell you what IFBB pros as well as Mepstagram think of the entire competition. And so in fourth place, and I really like this guy's physique, although you didn't really like it as much. Martin Fitzwater.
No.
She's not really a fan of Martin Fitzwater. Myself, he's so bubbly, and he has crazy looking quads and a lot of fullness in the chest. But he just needs to be a little bit drier. And so if I were coaching Martin, I'd be like, bro, we're going to use some diuretics. We need to dry you out because, trust me, when he gets up like this and he flexes the quad, he does this thing. And it's just peeled. It makes no sense. He's shredded. It's just he's not dry. And by dry, I mean the way that Hadi Choopan appears. Hadi Choopan is so dry. He does his pose, his chest, the serratus, the abdominals. It's stupendous. Now, he doesn't have the best shape in the world, but he brings the dryness. And so Martin Fitzwater, he has size, he has shape, he has a smaller waist, full-looking chest, big quads. But he just needs to get a little bit more dry, and he could, in fact, move up into the top 3, maybe even a little bit higher. Next. Now, this is going to be very controversial because I heard that Nick Strength and Power and perhaps Phil Heath had this man in first place. It's Nick Walker.
You would think like, oh, you know, people at home, you might be thinking, why isn't Nick like in the middle and stuff like that? Sometimes shows can be won like on the far left. If they already know what they want, they're just going to leave you there.
From where I was sitting, and mind you, I was about 20 rows back, and I really wanted to be a little bit closer. At prejudging for Classic Physique, I was really close. It's much easier to judge. And so from my vantage point, Nick Walker appeared to be in third place. Now, that's not a knock on him. Remember, I've said it was the best he'd ever looked. But he was 6th at the Olympia, and so to move up into 3rd at this show, well, that is, of course, an improvement. And so here's the things with Nick Walker. His best pose is the back double bicep. His back is so wide. It's got grooves and crevices, and his glutes are peeled, and his hamstrings are amazing. Everything looks like that of the Olympia or Arnold champion. Very, very impressive. But when he does the lat spread from the rear, his back doesn't open up quite as wide. And so in comparison to Hadi Chopin, Hadi looked significantly better. In the lat spread, Hadi's back is really, really wide. It's very amazing. Now, Hadi didn't have the signature glutes as detailed as seen in the past, but from the front, Hadi is simply much drier than even Nick Walker. Now, from the front, Nick Walker, upper body, amazing. Biceps, huge. But the waist is a little bit wider, and from the side, doing the side poses and so on, like the side chest and side tricep, Nick Walker's waist is not quite as tight. When you look at the obliques and the serratus on Hadi Chopin, it's granite, it's nails, it's dry. And Nick Walker, it's good, it's all right, but it's not up to his standard. And when I look at Nick Walker from the front, below the waist, the quads, they could use more size, and I don't want to have to say this, but the vascularity, the veins and so on, what is it called when the varicose veins, it detracts from his physique a little bit. Remember, it's not quite just the muscle. It is slightly like a beauty pageant, a beauty of the body. For example, Ramon Dino. What a beautiful body this guy. Guys, I walk into the show, and there's this guy, he's jacked, he's got a white tank top, and he turns around, he's shaking my hand, he's talking to me, and I'm like, who is this guy? He's so shreddy, he's got tons of muscle, I don't know who he is. And so I'm shaking his hand, I'm like thinking, talking, and then I said to Mepsigram, I said, look at the size of this guy, and she's like, she looks over, that's Ramon Dino. I'm like, what, that's Ramon Dino? And so this is how bad I am. I don't do this upper. People, oh, you forgot his name. You don't recognize me. You don't know what's going on. No, I didn't even recognize Ramon Dino. She's like, don't you know the earrings? I'm like, all I saw was a good-looking jack dude. I'm like, is this guy an IPB pro? He must be in open class. He's a monster. He's shredded. Arms are huge. I didn't know what he was. And so I'm sitting behind Ramon Nino, and his Brazilian friends are cheering in Brazil. The whole, what's the language? Brazil is Portuguese. She can speak This woman can speak every friggin' language. As soon as he's translating, they just said he's the dark horse. He's the dark owl of the night. I don't know.
The surprise of the night.
The surprise of the night. Guy in classic physique. Boy, and then they're going through, they're watching surfing videos throughout the freaking video.
It was like a Brazilian party in there.
Exactly what you would expect.
It was so fun.
What a great guy sitting in front. We're having a good time. They're cheering out. It was a load of fun sitting in the audience behind Ramon Dino. What was I talking about before that?
His biceps are so big I could barely see the stage.
Oh, his arms back. It's just like massive. And this is classic physique. He looks like an open class bodybuilder. He's the size of Eric Janicki, and somehow he's competing in classic physique. And so Nick Walker, he doesn't quite have as pretty of a physique. Does that make sense? And so bodybuilding, it's about looking pretty. So for example, Ramon Dino, he has a very pretty looking physique. If Ramon Dino were in open and had 20 or 30 pounds more muscle, he would probably win the whole thing because everything looks the way that it should. Nick Walker looks like a freak. Now, I do believe that he had the most cheers of the entire night. He walked out and I was like, this is the most cheers I've heard for anyone. And so certainly a crowd favorite, and he brought it. Now, I personally don't think it's enough to win. Now, on the live stream, people are saying that he's going to win. I had people, my friends texting me, Nick has got it. And I'm thinking, well, not from what I've seen. And so I'm just telling you that if I were judging, these were to be the places that I give. Doesn't mean that I'm correct. Remember, I'm 20 or 30 rows back. And so just because my prediction is different than, for example, Nick Strength and Power, or what's the other guy's name? Phil Heath, that somehow that I think I know better.
My eyes just keep going to Nick over everybody else. Yeah, Phil, I think they're comparing just Hottie and Nick for that top two.
And so Nick Walker in third place. Now, we're down to the top two. Apples and oranges. We've got a beautiful man, Andrew Jack. He's kind of hot.
My favorite.
Andrew Jack's her favorite. Yeah. He's not as hot as Ramon Dino, though. No, but he's pretty impressive. He's 6'2" and he's 300 pounds. He's got good skin. He can do the splits and he can pose.
Like aura maxing
to the max. Yeah. And so we're down to these two guys. Now, mind you, politics aside, people are saying, oh, politics are going to dictate who's going to win. No, they're not. It's bodybuilding. No one in the audience was booing Hadi Chopin. No one cared. This is a bodybuilding event. We're not talking about fighting this and fighting. We are bodybuilders, and we're here to see who has the best physique at the Arnold Classic. And so I'm going back and forth, back and forth. And remember, I'm not biased. None of these guys are my favorite or not favorite. I'm judging based on what I'm seeing in the moment. If one guy's better than the other, then I'm going to give it. Now, what I saw is Hadi Chopin having more graininess, more dryness, and more detail than Andrew Jack. Andrew Jack is bigger and taller and such, but it's because he's taller. If Andrew Jack were not 6'2" and he were a 5'6" man like Coach Greg, he wouldn't be anywhere near as imposing, as impressive as he actually is. And so it's basically almost like judging an amateur show and coming down to the overall. You have the super heavyweight Andrew Jack competing against, let's say, the light heavyweight of Hadi Chopin. And so much taller, bigger, heavier, and a bit shorter. Now, from the rear, Hadi Chopin has a better back than Andrew Jack. His back is so wide. It's hard to believe, like you have to see it in person. When you stand there, you don't think it's gonna get that wide. And he does a lat spread and you're like, oh my God. And Andrew Jack, perhaps his back is just as big as Hadi, but he's like 8 inches taller. And so the width of it compared to being so much taller, it's not quite as impressive. And from the front, Hadi Chopin's quads are incredible. Andrew Jack, I do believe he was at all-time best. He has the feathering, he has the cross-striations, but it's not as dry. And it's hard for those of you who are not bodybuilders to understand the difference between shredded and dry. Yeah. All of them are shredded. They all are. But there's this dryness, how is it possible that your skin is that thin? And so when Hadi Chopin does one of these, and you see all these things jumping out at you, are like, what kind of skin does he have? Is it made out of saran wrap? I'm like, it's saran wrap that I'm looking at. I'm like, what am I seeing? And I'm 20 rows back and I still see it. And I'm seeing the quads and I'm like, look at how dry it is. He's just standing there and it's dry and it's feathered everywhere. You see Martin Fitzwater, if he flexes down, if he strikes his quads, if he shows it on purpose, it jumps out. But Hadi, it's always there. He's just standing there. It's just like, what is going on? The serratus, all the stuff going on. And so it's basically like, who do you like more? Andrew Jack or Hadi Chopin? And going into this, I think I was asked on the panel, who did I think I was going to win? Those were the two people that I had mentioned. That Derek Lunsford had been in the show, if he was shredded, he was competing, I would have believed that Derek Lunsford probably would have won, but he wasn't in it. And so which of the two is going to take it? I personally, after watching them, was very confident that Hadi Chopin had it. I actually didn't think it was all that close. I had Hadi Chopin clearly being in first, beating out Andrew Jack in second, and Nick Walker being in third, and Martin Fitzwater, the alien from Mars, the red monster. I believe they call him Martian. Mars. And hey, it's the Arnolds, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was in a movie before you were born. It was called, I don't remember names. You guys know that. But it was in a movie and he went to Mars and it was make-believe and his eyes bulged out because of the oxygen. You guys all remember this movie. It was a great movie. And so I think that Hadi Chopin wins. Now, you can write in the comments and say, I got it way off. I was way off because you listened to the stream and you heard Nick Strength and Power and Phil Heath say that, no, Nick Walker got it.
Do you think at the finals we'll get that two-man call-out?
Oh, they'll have to.
I should read. If I would read the comment, my friend saying, Nick Walker won by a mile, and I'm thinking, what show did you guys watch? I'm like, Nick Walker? Nick Walker is not going to win. I have Hattie Chopin. But then I realized, wait a minute, they're getting a live stream, and so they're getting a different vantage point than me, who's in the audience. But hey, I was pretty far back.
Sometimes shows can be won like on the far left. If they already know what they want, they're just going to leave you there.
Yeah, they don't do that. No, that's not going to happen. And so I'm not judging based on where they put people. I'm judging based on what I saw with my eyes, okay? Now, is it possible that somebody was so good that they said, you know what, we're not going to put you in the middle. If there's 4 people, typically first and second are going to be here, and third and fourth are going to be there. If somebody is so friggin' amazing, so obviously in first, would they put them over here and just change these people around? I mean, it's possible, but it's unlikely. When I was an amateur at one point, I was called out and I did my posing, and I was very clearly going to be winning this. I was very clearly dominating. I'm not trying to brag, but I was very clearly dominating the middleweight division at this provincial competition. And so after being called out, there was 4 of us. They then said, go back, and then they called out 3. And so I knew that I had won because they had left me back and they wanted to call out the other 3. There was no point in comparing me to the others. And so when I got off stage, my friends and family approached me and they said, I don't know what happened. We all had you in first. I mean, we feel bad for you. We thought you were going to win. I'm like, what do you mean I did win? They're like, yeah, but you didn't even make the call out with those other 3. I'm like, that's because I won by so much it didn't need to be seen with them. Now, that didn't happen. If they had had those 4 competitors and then later they'd only brought out 2, or they had only brought out 3, you could say, well, what happened to that guy? You could then think, well, maybe they had 1 or they only want to compare the top 2, but they didn't do that. They kept those 4. And so 99 times out of 100, it's going to be somebody in the top 2 that's going to win it. And what did I notice? Hattie Chopin was almost always in one of these positions. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And so despite the fact that we're checking out Ramon Dino and watching the surf competitions and cheering with them and so on, it was a good time, and we were into the Brazilian music.
Right there too.
Urs is in behind. It's a great time at the Arnold. You guys have to show up.
Yeah.
And so we're listening to music. She's shazamming the shit out of these songs so we can listen to songs harder than last time. And so we're having a great old time. And so that's how I see it. And so, I mean, honestly, how I think bodybuilding should work, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's multiple judges. So let's say there's 5 judges. I don't think those judges should be allowed to talk and ask questions and look at each other's score sheets, and they should judge independently. And maybe one judge like Mepsigram says, hey, Andrew Jack is first. Another judge like Coach Greg says, Hattie is first. Another judge like Nick Strength and Power says, Nick Walker is in first. And then you add up all the scores and let the things happen where they may, and then whoever wins, wins. It's a collective agreement on all of the judges because, trust me, we all look for different things. Some of you really like freaks. Nick Walker, Nick Strength and Power probably likes Nick Walker because he's a freak, or it could be the fact that he's got the first name. I mean, it could be a sub-biased. If Bro shows up and his name is Greg, I'm thinking, oh, Greg, I want to see this guy. It's my name. I kind of like that. Imagine somebody got up there, a wellness competitor, and her name was Mepsigram.
Yeah.
Or it was Maria Poirier. Her name was Maria and she spoke French. Oh, I kind of like the French-speaking girl. And so imagine you have subconscious biases that are hard to overrule. And so anything can happen. I think that the judges should just judge the way they want, not care about anyone, and whoever wins, wins. Isn't that the most fair? Because, frankly, if Andrew Jack wins it, I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm not going to say he didn't deserve it. If the judges think that he won, then he won. If Nick Walker wins, then I'm going to say congratulations to Nick Walker. He won. He was the freaky guy. Why can't a freak win once in a while? There's nothing wrong with that. And so depending on how the judges see the show, depending on which athlete had more judges vote for them, that should be the champion. We don't all have to think that, no, it's my way or the highway. I don't think that just because I like a certain competitor that perhaps I go more for shape and less for size, whatever, that I should be the one that decides to win. It should be the opinions of several different people. When conjoined together, then whoever comes out on top comes out on top. Does that make sense? Now, what I can tell you is that whoever takes Turk Max for the night show is definitely going to be the winner. And so hopefully they don't know where I'm at because I do have 5 bottles of Turk. And so if Andrew Jack knocks on my door and I give him some Turk Builder Max, he can have the Turk Max, then he's going to win. I mean, it will dry him out. If Martin Fitzwater gets all 4 of my Turk Builder Maxes and perhaps one of my Platinums, he's winning the show. It's that close. A little bit, because they don't understand that the Turk, it gets your muscles drier and harder, and that is what he needs. And so, guys, if you're watching this video in time for the night show, be sure to come to my room and come and get some Turk Builder Max. Find me. It'll make the difference between 4th place and 1st. And so if you're regular consumers out there and you're interested, of course, you can get it. You can use code Greg for 15% off, or if you're unemployed, use code unemployed for 20% off. You go, I feel bad, you're all there watching all of my videos instead of going to work, instead of applying to jobs. And so, hey, it's my way of giving back. Don't forget to go to AlgoRx to get your blood work done. We all know bodybuilders, they tend to use the steroids, the peptides, and so on. And so we don't want anyone, doing things that are too dangerous. Get your blood work checked. Make sure that you're not as unhealthy as Mr. Mike. And buy all the things, compare the stuff. Go to AlgoRx, use code Greg. And subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you like. Don't forget to watch one of those boots, one of those right there. Comment for the AlgoRx. And until next time, I am out.